Hey, LeBron NDA here with another NHL commentary. This time, it's kind of a continuation of the NHL Be A Pro mode uh, for my goalie career. Now, in the last video for the goalie mode commentary, I did that as a temporary thing. Some people asked about it, so I decided to make a video for it. But I had no intentions at all to continue it for my own personal enjoyment, because I'm generally not very good at the goalie mode in the NHL games, and the biggest reason is the way the goalie controls. Now, when I was younger, I used to love goaltending. Actually, goaltending is my favorite position in hockey. Uh, so I understand the concepts of goaltending, specifically cutting down your angles and trading the replays. So I mean, I get the concept of goaltending, but the controls, in particular, the way the goalie responds, and I find the goalie responds when you, how do I say that? Like when you move the left stick to the left or right, he moves too quickly, which ends up causing you to leave your net open, leave spaces in your net open. So obviously they score, right? But what I found in this one in particular, they refine the controls in a way that you don't tend to do that as much. You don't tend to overcorrect. And now I don't know if it's necessarily because maybe the control, because I'm playing this on the 360, so maybe it's a bit more sensitive. I don't know, but I always found that to be a problem. Specifically when you try to do a pad save, when you go down on your pads, and how you do that was you push down on the right analog stick, and then once you're on your pad, you can still move to the left or right. But by doing that, you move too quickly, I found. So if you made the first initial save and then you let out a rebound and it's still in front of you, you try to move over a little bit to make the second save. You end up moving too far to the right or too far to the left, leaving the 5-hole open or whatever. But what they did in this one to kind of fix that a little bit, anyway, is the concept's the same. You use your left stick to move your goalie, and then you use the right stick to make the saves. You push down on the right stick to do a pad save. You push left, and this depending on your goalie's glove hand, but mine's left hand for glove save. For a glove, I mean. You push left on the right stick to make a glove save, and then you push right to make a stick save, and then you push up to do a poke check. So that's basically the same. What they did change, however, is that for the pushing down on the right stick to do a pad save, they did it so it's only a temporary pad save. And I'm sure we'll see some of it later on. But basically, you push down, and he doesn't stay in the pad save position, which is good actually. You'll say, why wouldn't you want to be down, especially when you're scrumming? Well, yes, but like I said from previously in the NHL, when you're on the pads, when you're on your pads and you try to move to the left or right, you move too quickly. So by doing it temporarily, yes, your goalie gets up, but then you move slower to the left or right, so you can do these fine tuning to get the second try to do the second save. Now, if you want, obviously there is reasons why you'd want to be on your pads at all times. When there's like a scrum in front of the net and you don't know where the puck is, and how they did that is they still thought of that is use the left trigger. So if you hold the left trigger, you still go on your pads, and you can still go left or right, and that's basically like the old ones. And another thing they did too is if you want to hug the posts, left or right, doesn't matter, you can hold the right trigger. Now, in the previous ones, now maybe they did, so I don't know, it's been a while since I tried to be a goalie mode, but if you hold the right trigger, they hug the post, but if in the other one, it would do it automatically for you. So there's some times where you want to hug the post, and then there's other times you didn't want to hug the post, and then you get caught. There's this bit of a delay when you're hugging the post to when you're not hugging the post, and then if you try to get over to the other side real quick. By the time you get over there, it's too late. So by making that a separate option, uh, giving you the control of it, it allows you, do I want to do, like right now, like I'm not hugging the post right now, and now it's in the corner. I do hug the post, as you can see, and I can even go down further to, try to stop a wraparound or whatever. But see, that's all of my own doing. That's not the computer doing that. Where in the previous one, to hug the post, it was automatic. If you went close to the post and they were in the corner, it automatically hugged the post. But there's a lot of times where, especially if there's another guy in front of the net, you don't really want to do that. So those are the refinements, the ones I noticed the most since doing this, and I think that's why I'm doing better in this goalie mode in NHL 11 than previous ones, and this is why I think as someone who likes the goaltending position, that's why I find I'm playing this one more than the previous NHL. So basically, with that out of the way, the main thing I like to talk about in this one is my ideas. Everybody who's played the NHL games always has their ideas of what they would like to see in the game. And my ideas I'm going to discuss now are specifically for the Be A Pro mode. And this is not just for goalie, but also for the skaters as well. And that is to incorporate salary as part of your contract. In the previous ones, now this could be different in NHL 11. I don't know. I haven't actually sent ahead to see how the contracts are, but in the previous one, how it worked was, you get drafted, and then you get your entry-level contract, which is 3 years, and then during those 3 years, you can either be traded by your team, or sent down, or even placed on waivers, or released, or and there's a number of different things they could have done. And then after those 3 years, your agent would then give you the option of signing another contract after your 3 years are up. But all it was okay, these are the teams that are interested in you, and this is how many years they want to give you. And that was it. There was no salary involved. But obviously, in the world of hockey, especially the NHL, salary is important. It's one of the deciding factors that players have to make. So obviously they can just add a salary figure. Yes, these guys, the Toronto Maple Leafs are offering you $8 million. Would you like to accept? But that's kind of pointless. It's just a salary. But if they use that salary, if they somehow use that salary to apply it to boosters, for boosting your stats, or you can use that salary to buy better equipment, goalie equipment, or player equipment, sticks, or whatever, and use that so it improves your stats, And another thing you could do is maybe hire personal trainers. The more money you make, the better personal trainers you can afford. And then, but maybe have it to make sure that someone who only gets like an $800,000 contract, maybe have it so like that personal trainer, the good personal trainers, while they're expensive, they only last for say 1 season, where the cheaper ones will last for longer seasons, but your stats are not going to be as good with them. And obviously with that, you could have it so that you could save your salary over a course of multiple years. So so if you're not really the greatest goalie, you could maybe save all that salary and then get the right boosters that you want later on. So I think that's one way they could add a salary to that. I think another thing they could do too is sponsorship, which would give you special deals and maybe access to certain equipment without having to buy it. Because when you look at someone like Sidney Crosby or any of the big ones, Ovechkin or whatever, they have people like Reebok or Nike or whatever sponsoring them, and then they get all that equipment for free just because Sidney Crosby's using Reebok or whatever he uses. I don't know what he uses, but you get the point. So they could add stuff like that too, where if you played well enough, they could say, Reebok wants to sponsor you next season, and by doing this, you have access to these these pads that give you these amount of slots and booster slots, and then you can you know what I mean, because they kind of have the basic concept of it already, but by having the sponsors and the salary, I think you could expand that a little farther. And another thing with this, when it comes to salary and stuff, is maybe they can have things where you can have like a loyalty bonus. So while you might think about taking that contract, say if you're offered, like, say if I'm playing for like the Senators, right? Like I am right now, I'm playing for the Senators in this career. But if say Toronto offered me $8 million, but Ottawa can only afford $6 million, but I could maybe accept that lower offer of $6 million because I'm loyal to the team, and because of that I get rewarded by having some special boosters that will increase certain parts of my stats or whatever to make up for the lost money. So there's all these little things, like there's lots they could still do to the NHL series, and I'm sure EA Canada right now is thinking of stuff because they want to continue making these. But I'm sure they have probably stuff figured out, for the next 10 iterations of the NHL series, but they don't obviously want to put them in all right away because then they can't sell you a new game. So, but I thought, like, with salary, since salary is a big part of the NHL, that's one thing they could add to the Be A Pro mode. With the Dynasty mode, it's already now becoming a big part of the Dynasty mode with the salary cap, and now they got the restricted free agents, the unrestricted free agent stuff, and you have to worry about that, which I like. When I was younger, I actually had a fantasy hockey league of my own, and I don't know if anybody's familiar with this, but it's called the Fantasy Hockey League Simulator. Also called FHL Simulator or FHL Sim, and basically what it was a text-based simulator program. And what you would do is you have one guy called the commissioner, who would basically be the guy running the league, and then you have all your general managers, people who are control. You pick a team, and then you're the general manager of a team, and you would control the editing of your lineups and trading your players, signing contracts for your players, hiring or firing coaches, and all of this stuff. And it was pretty neat. And but after a while, as you get older, you get responsibilities, and you have you get yourself a job and stuff. And I just couldn't keep up with it. Although I've often thought of trying it again because my league was one of the more popular ones, and there's still leagues around, which is surprising. I looked at recently, and it was a fun thing, and that's why I like about the EA, the way EA's improving their Dynasty mode, is because I like pretending to be a general manager. I like trying out different scenarios. If the Maple Leafs didn't trade away their first-round pick and didn't get Kessel, would we be in a better opposition? Will we not? If Toronto traded all their young players and somehow got Ovechkin, would that make us a better team? And everybody likes to do that stuff. That's basically the reason why we play these sports games, I think, is because we can't do that. We can't do stuff like that. We can't, a lot of us aren't really good enough hockey players in real life to be able to be a pro or be in the NHL. So that's why we like playing these sports games, right? So, but anyway, until next time, this is LeBurn98 signing off. And anyway, take care, guys. See ya.
Well, that's the end of the game, and boy, did we see a great display of goaltending this evening. You can see how a goalie can dominate a game, and this one ended with a well-deserved shutout. His team has to be happy with his performance. Well, that's all for now. I'm John Davidson, and thanks for joining us at EA Sports.